What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Trey Jones. Today I'm going to be answering the question, why do you have anxiety after drinking? Now, go ahead and smash that like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt. Leave me a comment as well. Let me know if you deal with this. You probably do if you're checking this video out. Many of us drink, here and there at least a few days a year, right? And if you have an anxiety disorder, you probably realize that that wasn't a good idea. Others are watching this and they have an actual alcohol problem and they do this every single day. So I'm going to try to explain why this happens, but first I kind of want to give you my backstory. But I will start by saying that I'm not a medical doctor, psychologist, therapist, or counselor. I'm just doing this because I love to help people. I try to take my old negative experiences in the past with anxiety disorder and try to help some people see the light at the end of the tunnel, this long tunnel called anxiety recovery. I've helped a lot of people with their anxiety, helped people recover. I'm recovered, you can too. I believe in that wholeheartedly. So, a little backstory about me. Unfortunately, I was a problem drinker and a partier right before my first panic attack happened. From then on, I had 5 to 10 panic attacks a day. Developed health anxiety, social anxiety, dealt with depression. This was 5 long years, but I was drinking, partying all the time. So what led to this was a 2-day bender, basically 48 to 56 hours of almost non-stop drinking. I got like 2 or 3 hours of sleep along with the other guys. I was smoking cigarettes at the time. That's a whole nother issue. I can do a whole nother video on that, but I was smoking like a choo-choo train. And then we ate junk food the whole time. So all those things combined really overwhelmed my body, and my body was like, you know what, I've had enough of this. So I went home. I had this crazy heart palpitation issue whenever I was trying to go to sleep for the first time. I became super aware, depersonalized, and then my heart rate jumped up even faster. My blood pressure went up. I was dizzy. I had chest pain. This lasted 6 hours. I thought I was dying from a heart attack. So that's how things got started. Unfortunately, that 2-day bender just put me over the top. So drinking is kind of responsible for me even developing this. There were many other factors, but that definitely was one of the issues. Now, whenever I recovered, I had to pretty much stop drinking altogether for me to even get have any type of success. And I encourage you guys to look into that, or at least to really space this out or limit how many you have. And I'm not really talking about 1 to 2 to maybe 3 drinks, every other day or even every day. I'm talking about somebody that's drinking like 5 to 7 standard drinks whenever they go out. I think that's about the point. Of course, I'm not an expert on this, don't quote me, but I think that's about the point where I would start to have issues the next day. And of course, this can depend on your sex, your height, your weight, all of that, your tolerance levels. But I was drinking much more than this. I was drinking anywhere from 10 to 15 at least, pretty much every single day. So what I would have the next day was something called an anxiety hangover. I've done a video specifically over that. Or I would have, there's 2 different terms, or hangxiety. So there's a couple different terms describing this. It's just the combination of a hangover and your anxiety. And if you have an anxiety disorder, it does not mix with alcohol well at all. So I'm going to explain a couple things that are going on. So whenever you drink alcohol, you're releasing dopamine, which is a reward system basically in your mind. This floods your brain. You feel feelings of pleasure, much like winning a game or falling in love for the first time. It's just a huge reward system, okay, in your brain. So you become happy, pleasure. Whenever this is over, there's quite a few things that happen, especially if you drink a lot. Shame and guilt kind of come in. And if you have an anxiety disorder, shame and guilt are extremely rough on us. This is something that I would deal with, especially if you were doing things you weren't supposed to be doing, being irresponsible. There could be a million things that you did. But shame and guilt were one of the reasons that my anxiety would be high the next day. The next thing is that I was going through some type of alcohol withdrawal. It's like mini withdrawal. Yes, of course, it's nothing like, seizures and all that stuff from drinking for years. It's nothing like that. But your body is still adapting to now not receiving that alcohol. So your liver is in overload. Your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, your nausea is there, your breathing becomes more rapid. You're dehydrated. Dehydration is not good for anxiety, so you'll have intense headaches. And if you already have muscle tension, high heart rate, blood pressure, all of these issues with your anxiety, what do you think that's going to feel like the next morning? Everything is going to be magnified. I had so many panic attacks because I, refused to stop drinking or to limit what I was having the next day. And what did I do? That next afternoon, I would have to start drinking again to calm myself. I didn't have to, but I chose to start drinking again to calm myself down. So I got into this horrible cycle. So now there was pretty much no days that I was being alcohol free. Luckily, I got out of that and I figured out that that was not working. Something else that happens, I mentioned the dopamine. Whenever you come off that high, and everybody can attest to this, even people that don't have horrible alcohol issues, much like any other drug you use, you come down to a really low. You just feel depressed because you just had this awesome experience, this pleasurable experience. Now you're back to reality. That in itself can cause depression and anxiety and stress right there. So you need to realize there's a bunch of different things going on. This was a very difficult time in my life. If I go back right now, I shot myself in the foot a lot, and I try to tell people that I talk to in that Facebook group, like, look, you're not going to get better if you keep doing this. Your anxiety is going to get much worse. You're going to start to rely on it a lot more. A lot of people develop dependence issues on this and addictions. This can also be applied to things like, tobacco and drug use. So, whatever your poison is, it's probably not making anxiety better, and alcohol is one of those things. So what did I cover? The symptoms of dehydration and symptoms of alcohol leaving your body combined with the symptoms of anxiety make everything magnified, okay? The release of dopamine in your brain, that's going to have a really high high. The next day, that's going to often be followed with a low low, okay? A crash, if you will, not as extreme as something like meth or anything like that, but you will have somewhat of a small crash. What that can give you feelings of loneliness, depression, hopelessness, all of the negative feelings that you don't need to have with anxiety. Okay, so guys, make sure that you're trying to limit. I don't think 1 to 2 standard drinks is going to do this to you unless you're extremely lightweight, maybe a small female or a teenager, which you should be drinking anyways if you're underage. But I don't think 1 to 2 standard drinks is going to mess with you too much. Whenever you get over that, you guys know your limit. You know how much is too much and how much affects your anxiety the next day. But it was mind-blowing how I dealt with this because I knew I was going to feel like crap the next morning, but I didn't care in the moment. I was so happy to feel normal for a little bit with my alcohol use. So don't be like me. Don't be like so many other people. Get that under control. If you have an issue with this and it's just something that you can't put down, maybe there's a deeper issue going on, you need to seek help. Okay, either counseling, treatment, therapy, something. All right. Now down below, I will show you that there's tips down there. I'm not going to show you physically, but you can go down there and see that there are tips down there to help you with your anxiety disorders. Now below that, there is therapy down there, online therapy. That includes things like drug and alcohol counseling, stuff like that. So if you're dealing with any type of addiction issues and or anxiety issues or depression, there's somebody down there that can help you. There's thousands to choose from. All right, it's cheaper than going to in-person therapy, and of course it's cheaper than going to treatment for sure. So make sure that you take advantage of that, and you can just do it on the phone like this and talk to somebody. I believe that they have texting as well, so you can do that. It's just good to have a different perspective from a professional, somebody that's helped many people with alcohol, drug problems, anxiety disorders, depression, suicide, things like that. So take advantage of that if you can. All right, there's a lot of other resources down there. Something else I'll mention since I was talking about addiction issues, there's something down there called an anxiety store. It's my recommended products for anxiety, but there's some other stuff down there. There's a lot of books and workbooks on addictions. So if you're dealing with that, you can definitely go down there and find a book, something that you can relate with, especially with alcohol. So that's down there as well. Make sure you take advantage of that. My social media is down there. My Snapchat, my Twitter, my Instagram, all there. The Facebook group that I mentioned earlier up there, it's close to 23,000 members. So there's a lot of people in there helping each other out, a lot of support. We have a good moderating crew. We try to keep everything clean. lots of people coming in. We're growing at anywhere from 9,000 to 12,000 members a month right now. So you can find somebody that you can relate with in that group. Remember to like this video if you got value. Remember to subscribe if you're new to my channel. Welcome. I do a lot of videos like this out here in this universe. And hit the notification bell so you get updates when I put these videos out. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. It's Friday. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm going to try to relax as well. Talk to you guys later.